This woman had once been the most diligent immortal cultivator in the world, but now she spent all day lying in bed doing nothing. It was all because every man in the world had died out, leaving her unable to cultivate the way of yin and yang. That day, as usual, she wished for a man to fall from the sky. And the very next second, I came crashing down from above. I looked at the hole I'd smashed through the roof. Sorry about that, miss. How can I make it up to you? Then be my man. Her answer left me stunned. Wait, you mean you want to marry me? Stella. Suddenly, a clear female voice rang out from outside. Don't make a sound. Stella quickly warned me in a whisper. A lively young woman dressed in yellow stood outside the courtyard. What are you doing? What took you so long? Vanessa asked with a frown. Stella and the young woman in yellow didn't get along, and being interrupted just as things were getting started had put Stella in a foul mood. I thought I heard a strange noise coming from here. Vanessa eyed the house behind Stella suspiciously. Stella's heart skipped a beat. She immediately played dumb. I blew a hole in the roof while practicing a spell. Is that so? I'll take a look. It's only a hole. I can patch it up in no time. If everything's fine, I'll be going. Once Vanessa left, Stella immediately placed protective wards around the house. Then she jumped onto the roof and patched the hole. When she was done, she hurried back inside. Husband, I'm back. Wait, let's have the wedding ceremony first. The wedding ceremony? All right, let's do it right now. Her response caught me completely off guard. She looked so eager. I almost wondered if I was the woman here. I'd only suggested the wedding ceremony to test her. Besides, her cultivation was far beyond mine. I definitely wasn't going to turn down a wife like her. After completing the final bow as husband and wife, Stella and I looked at each other. Stella threw her arms around me. I wrapped my arms around her in return. After 2 whole hours, even a cultivator couldn't take any more. Stella's face glowed with happiness. Men truly are heaven's greatest gift to women. The next moment, Stella got up and fetched her storage pouch. What are you doing? They're for you. Stella smiled and poured out a pile of things from the pouch. There were magical artifacts, ores, crafting materials, spirit herbs, and hundreds of colorful, sparkling spirit stones. Husband, this is everything I own. From now on, it's all yours. Use it and spend it however you want. It would have taken me decades to build up a fortune like this. At that moment, I saw Stella in a whole new light. How could I not love a woman like her? I must have been blessed for 8 lifetimes to marry her. Stella was overjoyed. As long as you stay by my side forever, you can spend every spirit stone I earn from now on. Hearing that, I waved my hand. I can earn spirit stones too. Stella suddenly tensed up, and her expression changed dramatically. There were so many women out there. If he went outside, what chance would she have? Husband, you must never go outside. It's dangerous out there. There are demons and monsters everywhere. Her words sent a chill through me. I knew demons and monsters ate people, and there were plenty of them around Jialing City. Going out when I'm only at the 3rd stage of qi refining would be suicide. What about you? I'll be fine. I've lived here for many years, but you really can't go outside. You can't even leave this house. I wanted to say something about facing life and death together, but at my current level, I'd only be a burden if I went with her. Just wait until I reach the 5th stage of qi refining. There's no rush. Take your time cultivating. Whatever you do, don't rush. The early stages of cultivation are very important. You're so good to me, my wife. Don't worry. I'll take it slow and build a solid foundation. I made a silent vow. I would do everything I could to fight alongside my wife as soon as possible. Seeing that I was happy to stay home, Stella finally breathed a sigh of relief. Early the next morning, Stella eagerly set out in full battle gear. She was going mining. She would mine to provide for her husband. North Mountain Spirit Stone Mine, Kingdom of Women. Stella worked especially hard in the mine that day. She dug and dug in the tiny mine shaft. I need to mine more spirit stones for my husband. I'll buy him the best magical robes and artifacts, but I can't buy him flying swords or pills yet. I can't let him cultivate too quickly. If he starts going outside, it'll be too dangerous. The world outside is crawling with demons and monsters. I still need to reach foundation establishment. Only then can I better protect my husband. Stella carefully made plans as she mined spirit stones. A piece of rock fell away, revealing a sparkling crystal. Delighted, Stella pried it loose and put it in the bamboo basket beside her. Aha! Ever since I got a husband, even my luck has improved. I'm going to mine lots and lots of spirit stones today. By the end of her shift, she had mined over 50 spirit stones. Based on her share, she would get a little over 5 spirit stones. You really hit the jackpot today. You mined over 50 spirit stones. Vanessa looked at Stella in surprise. As the supervisor, she knew exactly how much Stella usually mined. Do I have to give you a detailed report? Stella shot back. Vanessa snorted, completely unfazed. You got lucky today. Let's see how many you can mine tomorrow. The other women gathered around and asked her for tips on mining spirit stones. You can do it too, once you reach the 9th level of qi refining. Of course, she wasn't going to admit that having a man had made her more motivated. The women were speechless. If you don't want to teach us, just say so. Vanessa's eyes flickered thoughtfully. Stella had been acting strange since last night, and today she was even more suspicious. I need to find a chance to look into this. Little did she know, looking into it would cost her the rest of her life. All right, I'm leaving. See you, everyone. Stella grabbed her belongings, mounted her flying sword, and sped away. I'd stayed inside all day since the outside world was full of danger. But now that I had a wife, I couldn't let her fight out there alone. So I decided to start a side business from home, drawing talismans, refining pills, that sort of thing. I could sell them to help cover our household expenses. My wife would be home soon, so I decided to cook and heat some water first. While my wife worked hard outside, I needed to take care of the house. I made 3 dishes and a soup, then heated a large pot of water. As I got ready to soak my wife's feet, a flying sword landed. Stella opened the protective array and entered the courtyard. I hurried to the door to welcome my wife home. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine. Everything's good." Stella shook her head. She felt a little guilty. To keep her husband all to herself, she'd chosen to tell a white lie. At the same time, she was afraid this was all a dream, or that I'd be gone when she got home. She had spent the whole day both happy and anxious. I held Stella tightly too. "Let me give you a massage and soak your feet so you can relax." "I can't let you do that. How could I let my husband wait on me? I should be the one taking care of you. Do as I say. Sit down." Stella looked at me, not knowing what to say. Her husband was almost too good to be true. The man of her dreams. What man would wait on a woman? Wasn't the woman supposed to wait on the man? She must have earned 8 lifetimes of good fortune for heaven to bless her with such a perfect man. "My dear, the hot water's ready. Lift your feet." I brought over the hot water and took off Stella's shoes myself. "Husband, you can't do this." Stella was horrified. She panicked at the thought of letting her husband take off her shoes. It was completely improper. If the other women found out, even if they didn't beat her to death, their scorn would drown her. I held Stella's feet firmly and took off her shoes, then lowered her feet into the hot water. Stella was deeply moved. What had she done to deserve this? After massaging her feet, I massaged her shoulders too. This made Stella feel even more uneasy and guilty. When I was done, I smiled and said, "Dinner's been ready for a while. Let's eat, my dear." Stella nodded and went to serve the food. This time, I didn't stop her. I could tell she was nervous and uneasy. Both spouses should do their part and support each other. The 2 of us sat down at the table. She put food on my plate, and I fed her. The room was filled with love. Several hundred meters from the courtyard, Vanessa flew through the air on her sword. As she looked toward Stella's courtyard, she frowned slightly. There's even a formation set up. There really is a secret here. Could she be preparing to break through to the foundation establishment stage? Stella had reached the 9th level of chi refining long ago. It was certainly possible. But Stella had never shown much interest in reaching foundation establishment before. What made her change her mind now? After dinner, I looked at Stella. "My dear, I want to learn how to draw talismans." Stella smiled and replied, "All right. Your support is the greatest motivation I could ask for. I also want to try alchemy and see which one I'm better at. Alchemy is harder. You need spirit herbs, pill formulas, and an alchemy furnace. And none of those are easy to get. It's also very expensive. It's best to focus on one thing. If you spread yourself too thin, you won't master either one. Then I'll start by learning to draw talismans." "Husband, I'm sorry," Stella said guiltily. Her face was full of guilt. She couldn't give her husband what he wanted, all because of her own selfishness. She wasn't a good wife. She truly didn't deserve him. I immediately stopped her and gently pulled her into my arms. "We're husband and wife. There's no need to be so formal with each other. Let's just relax and be ourselves." "Husband, I earned 5 spirit stones today." Stella excitedly pulled out the spirit stones she'd worked so hard to earn that day and handed them over to me. 5 spirit stones. My wife is amazing. Spirit stones were extremely valuable. A single one was worth at least 100 taels of gold, and even then, they were nearly impossible to buy. I'll mine even more tomorrow. If it puts you in danger, then we don't want them. Not even 100 or 1,000 spirit stones. Next day, Stella happily headed off to the mine. She was determined to mine even more than she had yesterday. She wanted to make her husband proud of her every day. "You're so happy again today. Are you about to break through?" Good news is meant to be shared. It's even better when everyone can be happy together. Stella's expression changed slightly. She'd tried so hard to hide it, yet someone had still noticed. "Stay out of my business, or don't blame me for what happens next. You want to threaten me? Then you can kiss mine number 3 goodbye. You're going to mine number 7 today." Stella glared furiously at Vanessa. That woman had actually changed her mine assignment. She was deliberately making things difficult for her. "What? Are you refusing your assignment? Why don't we go see the general and talk this through?" She couldn't beat Stella, but she had status and powerful people backing her. There were plenty of powerful experts at the mining grounds. As long as Stella refused her assignment, Vanessa would have grounds to report her. "Fine, you'd better remember this." Stella gritted her teeth, turned around, and entered mine number 7. In the past, she wouldn't have cared. She might even have lost her temper and fought back. She wouldn't have cared if they locked her up. But things were different now. She had me now. If she were locked up, there was a good chance my existence would be exposed. Then I would no longer belong to her alone. She could never accept that. "You really think you can take me on? I'm the one in charge of this entire mining district." Stella entered mine number 7. She found the rock inside dry and brittle. It certainly didn't look like a rich deposit. She checked with her spiritual sense but detected very little spiritual energy. She concluded that the spirit stone reserves here were shockingly low. At least in this outer section, she'd have to dig deeper. So Stella took out a high-grade flying sword. Flashes of her sword crisscrossed through the air. Rocks shattered as she quickly carved a path over 30 feet into the mine. But along that entire stretch, she found only 5 spirit stones. By then, she had completely exhausted her spiritual energy. After resting for 2 hours, Stella relied on her experience and followed the traces of the vein, using brute force to mine several more sections. At last, the rock began to change. There really were signs of a rich deposit. You think you can cut off my supply of spirit stones? Not a chance. Meanwhile, I spent the entire afternoon drawing talismans in the cabin. I made 50, but not a single one worked. I had mixed spiritual roots with no elemental affinity. To purify my spiritual energy, I could use a special tool, like a brush handle made from a pure elemental material. But I couldn't make one myself, so I'd have to wait for my wife to come home and help me figure it out. 58 spirit stones. Vanessa stared at Stella in astonishment. She never expected Stella to mine so many spirit stones from mine number 7. It was completely beyond her expectations. Give me 6 spirit stones. Stella held out her hand. Combined with what she had left over from yesterday, today's haul was just enough for her to claim 6. That was more than yesterday, so her husband would praise her again when she got home. Here you go. Without another word, Vanessa handed Stella 6 spirit stones. Stella took them and hurried home. Honey, I earned 6 spirit stones today. That's amazing, darling. Come give me a kiss. After dinner, I told Stella about the talisman brush. No problem. I'll find the spiritual material. You're incredible, darling. By the way, darling, do you have a dual cultivation technique? A dual cultivation technique? Stella's eyes instantly lit up. She seemed even more excited than I was. Early the next morning, Stella went to trade for a fire element material so she could forge a custom talisman brush for me. After getting a piece of fire element obsidian, she headed to mine number 7. Then Vanessa suddenly said, "Mine number 1 is empty." Stella was surprised, but she didn't give it much thought. Once she mined a few more fire element spirit stones, she could set up an array and craft the brush. The reason Vanessa had changed her attitude was that she thought Stella was gathering materials for foundation establishment. Reaching foundation establishment was a major milestone. The kingdom of women was peaceful and stable overall, and fights to the death were rare. Stella soon mined 6 fire element spirit stones. She immediately set up an array and began refining the talisman brush. By the time Stella finished, it was already pitch black outside. Since she had spent time refining the brush, she only collected 4 spirit stones that day. Would her husband still praise her? Stella pouted, then flew home on her sword. Last night's dual cultivation worked really well. I'm cultivating 3 times faster today than yesterday. But it's so late. Why isn't my wife home yet? As it grew darker outside, I became more and more anxious. The hooting of owls made the night feel even more eerie and frightening. Please be okay, my wife. Unable to wait any longer, I tried to open the door, only to find that my wife had sealed it from the outside. In a panic, I struck the seal with my flying sword, but it knocked me back with a loud bang. The restrictive array set up by a 9th level chi refining cultivator was far beyond my power. My wife did this to protect me. Husband, I'm back. Stella finally appeared, dressed in pure white battle robes, like an immortal under the moonlight. I immediately rushed over and hugged her as if I'd gotten back a star I'd lost. Why did you come home so late? I was worried sick. Husband, I'm sorry. I lost track of time. I got held up refining the talisman brush. I'm sorry I made you worry. I'm the one who should apologize. You only did this because of me. Husband, don't say that. I'm lucky you gave me this opportunity. I was too moved for words, so I could only show her how I felt. Stella paused, then wrapped her arms around me and responded passionately. 5 minutes later, I pulled away, breathing heavily. From now on, you have to be home before dark, or I'll punish you severely. Okay, husband. How are you going to punish me? A spanking. You're getting a spanking. Husband, can you punish me now? I was speechless. This woman was absolutely irresistible. You little minx. That's what you get for not listening. Before dinner, Stella placed 4 spirit stones on the table. Husband, I didn't work hard enough today. I only earned 4 spirit stones. 4 spirit stones is already very good. Most cultivators can't earn that much. That deserves a reward. A reward? How are you going to reward me, husband? What kind of reward would you like? Husband, could you give me something personal of yours? That way, I can feel like you're always with me when I'm away. I smacked myself hard on the head. My wife had entrusted her entire fortune to me. She had gone to so much trouble for me. She had even risked her life. Yet I hadn't given her a single gift. I took an exquisitely carved wooden sword, less than a foot long, out of my storage pouch. I carved it myself when I was 8, and it stayed with me for 10 whole years. It's my most treasured wooden sword. Now I'm giving it to you. I hope it brings you good luck too. Stella looked at the wooden sword with delight and carefully took it. It's beautiful. I love it. Once my cultivation level is higher, I'll give you a priceless treasure. No treasure could ever be more precious than this wooden sword. It carries a piece of your past. It's one of a kind. Nothing in the world could mean more to me. It's my favorite. Her words touched me deeply. My wife was simply amazing. Darling, let's hurry up and eat. After dinner, we can cultivate together. All right, let's cultivate together. Tonight, we'll cultivate together all night. The next 2 days passed peacefully. Stella Stella came back with a plentiful haul every day. After getting a talisman brush, I finally started making progress with my talismans. At last, I managed to draw a flame talisman, although I still wasn't breaking even. Once I mastered the art, I could make plenty of talismans to protect my wife. I could also trade them for spirit stones and use those to buy elixirs. That way, both my wife and I could grow stronger much faster. At the mine, Vanessa had been watching Stella for 2 straight days, but saw no sign at all that she was reaching Foundation Establishment. Could she be hiding some other secret instead of trying to reach Foundation Establishment? She suddenly remembered the protective array installed at Stella's home that day, as well as the strange noises she'd heard that night. Her eyes suddenly widened, as a terrifying possibility crossed her mind. Vanessa's mind raced. She quietly returned to the mine. She planned to wait for Stella to finish work, so she could use the opportunity to investigate the house. At last, night fell. She secretly followed Stella from the shadows, keeping her distance. As they neared the house, she saw Stella change her appearance in midair. Stella deliberately messed up her hair and tore her clothes in several places. Now even more certain of her suspicions, Vanessa grew increasingly anxious. This is bad. Stella really has broken a serious taboo. Stella opened the array. Husband, I'm home. Vanessa felt as if she'd been struck by lightning. She even called him her husband. Stella, have you lost your mind? You're being foolish. Vanessa was scared and conflicted. Now that she'd discovered it, she couldn't just ignore it. It would be best to get rid of it quietly. She went straight to the courtyard and called out, Stella, come out. Stella came out of the room and eyed her warily. What are you up to now? Tell me, what are you hiding in there? Stella's hair instantly stood on end. Hiding what? What nonsense are you talking about? Stop pretending. I just saw and heard everything. Hurry up and get rid of whatever it is. I'll pretend I never saw it. When Stella heard get rid of it, she was stunned. Get rid of it? There were no men in the women's kingdom, so how could anyone have seen one? With that, Vanessa turned to leave. Stella quickly grabbed her. What are you doing? I'm not getting involved in anything that filthy with you. I'm already being generous by pretending I didn't see anything. What do you think I'm hiding in my room? Do I really have to say it? It's disgusting. Stella froze, then anger welled up inside her. What kind of sick, twisted stuff is going on in your head? I'm twisted? What about you? Vanessa pointed at herself in protest, then realized something was off. Then, what exactly are you hiding in there? Didn't you already see it? By then, Stella wasn't nervous anymore. I only heard you call out honey and saw a shadow dart across the room. Stella smiled and grabbed Vanessa by the wrist. I'll show you. I'm not going. But she eventually let Stella drag her into the courtyard. Her curiosity had been piqued. What exactly was hidden in that room? The moment I opened the door, Vanessa's eyes locked on me. Her eyes went wide, and she turned to Stella in a daze, staring at her in disbelief. It wasn't an ape or a puppet. It was a man. Honey, this is my friend and fellow warrior. Welcome. I smiled and stepped aside. Come in. No thanks. Honey, wait here. I need to talk to my friend. Dinner's ready. Won't you eat with us? Stella dragged the completely smitten Vanessa away. Vanessa snapped out of it and immediately resisted. She didn't want to go back. She wanted to have dinner with the man. He was so handsome. He was 10, even 100 times better than the elders had described. Behave yourself. Vanessa obediently followed Stella. Men, oh men. Now you understand why I acted like that before, don't you? How did you find him? Didn't the imperial preceptor seal off the entire women's kingdom? I made a wish to the heavens, and then my husband fell from the sky. Vanessa didn't believe a word of it. But if Stella wouldn't tell her the truth, so be it. I get a share of this man too. A share? What gives you the right? Are you trying to steal him? I don't care. No matter what, I'm getting a share. What if I refuse? You won't. Only by working together can we keep this man all to ourselves. Vanessa smiled confidently. She knew this country better than anyone. Once word got out that there was a man here, neither of them, not even a Foundation Establishment cultivator, could keep him all to herself. They wouldn't even make the waiting list, let alone get to see him. Besides, you brought me here to meet him because you already had this in mind, didn't you? You're very clever. Stella gave Vanessa a long, searching look. Fine, but you'll have to follow my lead in everything. Follow your lead? No way. Vanessa shook her head. My husband and I have already gone through the wedding ceremony. Vanessa gritted her teeth, but in the end, she had no better option. Then she changed the subject and curiously asked Stella how she'd gotten the man to willingly stay in the house. Stella smiled and began explaining the lie she'd made up. Vanessa finally understood. Still, it really was a good plan. And you weren't lying. There really are plenty of female demons outside. Haha. Other than that, my feelings for my husband are genuine. Stella's gaze was firm. In just a few days, she had fallen completely in love with the man. Tomorrow, I'll find a way to get my husband to accept you. Also, from now on, my husband will decide who sleeps with him each night. We can't interfere or force him. Agreed? Vanessa nodded in agreement. But I want to have dinner with you two tonight. Stella refused without hesitation. This was her last night to have her husband all to herself. She didn't want anyone disturbing them. Besides, I don't trust you to control yourself. Even if it was just dinner, Vanessa couldn't argue with that. She really couldn't control herself around him. Vanessa then pointed out that the cabin wasn't safe and suggested they take the next day off to build a hidden cabin in the back hills. Stella thought it was a good idea too. She didn't want anyone else finding them like Vanessa had. Then it's settled. I'm going back to have dinner with my husband. You should go home. My husband will worry if I'm gone too long. Vanessa looked completely captivated. She desperately wanted to go inside too. After Stella went inside, Vanessa didn't leave. Instead, she slipped into the woods. She planned to stand guard over them. It would be terrible if anyone else found them. But just imagining the two of them having an intimate dinner inside and getting affectionate afterward left her feeling bitter. I should have realized it sooner. When Stella told me her friend had left, I asked curiously, "Is she really your friend? Just a few days ago, you two were at each other's throats." Stella smiled sweetly at me. "Husband, do you think my friend is beautiful?" Her question immediately put me on high alert. "My dear wife, please don't get the wrong idea. I only asked because of you. I'm not interested in her." "Really?" Stella asked with a blush. "Of course. With a wife as beautiful, smart, and powerful as you, what more could I ask for?" "Husband, I'm serious. What do you think of her? Do you like her?" Stella's expression suddenly changed. "Don't joke about that. In my eyes, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. She's not as beautiful as you." Sensing danger, I immediately declared my devotion. At that moment, Stella decided to lay everything out in the open. "You know how dangerous it is for me to fight demons alone, with no one to back me up. If I had a trusted sister to help me, things would be much easier. So I want you to marry her too. Then we could all trust and care for each other." "No," I refused immediately. "What are you thinking? What kind of man do you take me for?" For a man, taking another concubine would mean enjoying the company of multiple wives. But on the other hand, it hurt that Stella was willing to share me with another woman. To teach her a harsh lesson for having such a foolish idea, I swept Stella into my arms and carried her toward the bed. Stella wrapped her arms around my neck, looking a little scared. Outside, Vanessa waited anxiously, glancing at the room from time to time. Stella and that man must be in each other's arms by now. Why do I feel so envious and jealous? What if I joined them, the three of us? Vanessa became lost in the fantasy. She desperately wanted to barge in and see for herself. But because of their agreement, she couldn't, so she could only pace around outside. Early the next morning, Stella shakily got to her feet. She looked exhausted and had to meditate for a while before going out. Outside the courtyard, she found Vanessa waiting there. "Did you come this morning, or were you here all night?" "I was here all night," Vanessa replied. Stella was speechless. "You couldn't even wait one day?" She was starting to regret this. Just then, Vanessa asked curiously, "What happened to your voice? What's wrong with your voice? Why is it suddenly so hoarse?" Stella's heart skipped a beat, and she glared at Vanessa. "It's all because of you. Did he defy you? Did he hit you?" Vanessa's eyebrows shot up in anger. "Wait, that doesn't make sense. He's only at the 3rd level of chi refining. How could he beat you?" Vanessa was completely confused. "Why are you being so mysterious? Can't you just tell me?" "Enough. We still have a lot to do today. Let's get going." Stella quickly changed the subject, summoned her flying sword, and flew off. Vanessa followed on her own flying sword. After asking the elder for leave, they headed to the back mountain. The area was densely wooded and home to demonic beasts. Cultivators below the 7th level of chi refining normally didn't dare come here alone. After looking around, they chose a secluded valley. The terrain was naturally easy to defend. By setting up formations on both sides, they could keep the area secure. They then chose a spot and began carving out a cave dwelling. Before long, the cave dwelling was finished. They spent some more time furnishing it. They made the interior attractive, safe, comfortable, and well hidden. "Come on, let's go get our husband," Vanessa said excitedly. She could hardly wait to begin the wonderful life the three of them would share. But Stella stopped her. Vanessa looked puzzled. "Well, our husband hasn't accepted you yet, so you might have to wait a few more days before—" Stella stammered. Vanessa instantly flew into a rage. She'd been eagerly waiting all day and night. "And now you're telling me no? Are you messing with me? I bet you didn't put in a good word for me. I don't care. I'm marrying him and spending our wedding night together tonight. Or else? Or else what? Are you going to report me or something? Then, you won't have any chance at all." Stella suddenly stood her ground. "So you really are trying to stop me. You regret it. You've changed your mind. If I can't have him, neither can you. No one can." Stella hadn't expected Vanessa to be so stubborn, so she softened her tone. "I never said you couldn't. You just need to wait a few days. I won't wait even one more day. It has to be tonight. Right now. This very instant." Vanessa wouldn't budge. One day could turn into 2. The longer this drags on, the more that could go wrong. "I'm fine with it. The problem is, our husband won't accept you." "Why wouldn't he accept me? What reason could he possibly have? I'm young, beautiful, and have a gorgeous figure. You obviously didn't put in a good word for me." Stella immediately shot back. Her eyes gradually softened. "Our husband is a faithful man. He loves only me, and I'm the only one in his heart." Vanessa sneered. "I don't care how he feels. I just want his body. I don't need his heart. It has to be tonight. Let's go now." Stella hadn't expected Vanessa to be so unreasonable. "You may not care about his heart, but I do. I won't let you hurt him. And you still claim you're not trying to stop me?" Vanessa summoned her flying sword and pointed it straight at Stella. Stella couldn't talk her down, so they'd have to settle this with a fight. "How about this? Just follow my lead," Stella said helplessly. "Husband, I'm back." Stella descended from the sky. Her clothes were torn, and she looked disheveled, with spots of blood on her. Vanessa followed behind her, looking just as pale. Her clothes were in tatters and stained with blood. My wife! I opened the door and froze. Then I quickly pulled her inside. How did you get hurt so badly? We ran into a huge horde of demons. Demons? A whole horde of them? I quickly grabbed the first aid kit. Hurry and take off your clothes so I can treat your wounds. Vanessa stood in the doorway, quietly watching Stella as her resolve began to waver. She was tempted. She longed to be cared for like that too. Vanessa walked inside and closed the door. Then she took off her outer robe. I caught a glimpse of her and froze, my mind going completely blank. What are you doing? I want you to treat my wounds, Vanessa replied coldly. She didn't know what expression to make or what to say. She wanted me to treat her wounds and care for her as tenderly as I had cared for Stella. So she took the simplest, most direct approach. She couldn't help letting her jealousy show. I handed her a bottle of ointment and turned away slightly. Do it yourself. I want you to apply it for me, Vanessa repeated, her tone cold and forceful. Honey, I'm all better now. Go treat her wounds. Stella quickly spoke up. You want me to treat her wounds? Treat her wounds? I get it now. Looks like someone still hasn't given up. So all that effort last night was for nothing. Stella didn't dare look at me. She's helped me a lot. If it weren't for her, I might not have made it back tonight. All right, since that's what my wife wants, I'll let you off the hook. Still angry, I got up, grabbed the ointment, and went over to treat Vanessa's wounds. As I dipped my fingers in the ointment, Vanessa shuddered slightly. Her face quickly turned red. It's so tingly and so exciting. So this is what a man's hand feels like. Hold still. I warned her, I'm not moving. You're obviously the one moving. Besides the wound on her back, Vanessa also had one on her thigh. Do that one yourself. I handed the ointment to Vanessa. I couldn't actually rub ointment on a young woman's thigh just to spite my wife. You do it. You just applied ointment all over Stella's body. Vanessa's eyebrows shot up. She's my wife. You're not. Then I'll be your wife too. Your second wife, Vanessa quickly replied. Then she suddenly hugged me and pressed her face against my chest. I tried to pull away, but I couldn't break free. Vanessa's cultivation level was higher than mine. But when I looked at Stella for help, she turned away and pretended not to see. That made me angry, so I made up my mind. Fine. I agree. Now let go of me. That's great. Let's get married right now. Vanessa happily let go of me and tried to drag me off to the wedding ceremony. There's no need for a ceremony. Just serve the first wife a cup of tea. Tea it is. Whatever you say. Vanessa quickly poured some tea and brought it to Stella. She deliberately said in a sweet, flirty voice, "Please have some tea." Stella was filled with bitter, conflicting emotions. Her hand trembled as she took the tea and raised it to her lips. Her hand shook so badly that she spilled some tea, and the cup even knocked against her teeth. She took a small sip. It tasted unbearably bitter, and she couldn't bring herself to swallow it. There, all done. Vanessa smiled with satisfaction and turned to me. The next moment, Vanessa wrapped both hands around my arm. Let's go consummate our marriage now. Sure, but let me treat your leg first. Oh, it's just a minor injury. It's fine. I can heal it with my cultivation. Be good, darling. Sit still. I sat her down in a chair and applied the medicine. Darling? He called me darling. Vanessa's heart instantly melted. No one had ever called her that before, especially not such a handsome man. Her man. It hurt me to see her injured. I leaned closer and gently blew on the wound, making Vanessa melt. It felt all tingly and warm. So this was the happiness of having a man. Stella watched from the side, nearly grinding her teeth to pieces. That tenderness had once been hers alone, but now he was giving it to another woman, and she was the one who had made it happen. She wanted to slap herself across the face. All done. Now let's go to the bridal chamber. Why are you in such a hurry to consummate the marriage? Of course I am. I want to cuddle with my husband as soon as possible. Cuddle? I see. This woman probably still had no idea what happened in the bridal chamber. Before entering the room, I glanced at Stella, who hadn't said a word. As for Stella and her anger, I understood that she'd actually made the right choice. In a dangerous world, people had a better chance of surviving together. If I was going to accept Vanessa, I wasn't going to be shy about it. I linked arms with Vanessa and gave her one final reminder. My dear wife, it's Vanessa's first time, and she doesn't know what to do on her wedding night. Why don't you come in and show her? Vanessa froze for a moment, then looked at Stella and said, That's right, Miss Stella. You can join us too. The bed is big enough after all. I'm sorry, husband. I'm not feeling well, so I can't show Ms. Vanessa what to do. She turned around, went straight into her room, and shut the door. Ms. Stella seems a little upset. Vanessa had noticed it too. Forget about her. I smiled and ushered Vanessa into the room. Husband, I'm sorry. Stella leaned against the door as tears streamed down her cheeks. Her heart ached so badly that even breathing hurt. She couldn't bear to share her husband with another woman. But in the kingdom of women, men were a scarce resource. And she wasn't strong enough. She had no choice but to share a man with other women. If she had shared him with other women from the start, she wouldn't have felt this way. But after having her husband's tenderness all to herself, she couldn't accept sharing him with anyone else. She longed to go back to the way things were. But there was no going back. Stella didn't sleep at all that night. She kept staring at my room, imagining what Vanessa and I were doing inside. Some of the images were more than she could bear. What worried her most was that Vanessa might use some special trick to win me over. and make me care less and less about her. The night passed in the blink of an eye. Early the next morning, Stella straightened her robe and left her room. She pretended to keep busy while watching my room and waiting for us to come out. But no matter how long she waited, there was still no sign of us. Even when it was time to start work, there was still no movement. Stella wondered if something had happened to us. After she and I consummated our marriage, I got up early the next morning to cook. I'd done the same every morning since. She didn't know what had happened, and she was in no mood to go to work. So what if she was punished for missing a day? It was only a few lashes. It wasn't until late morning that I finally came out with my arm around Vanessa. "You're so bad, husband. You wouldn't let me get up until this late. Am I really that bad? Didn't you enjoy it?" "Oh, husband, you're so naughty." Vanessa raised her little fist, but couldn't bring herself to hit me, so she gently stroked my chest instead. "Vanessa," Stella suddenly shouted. "Well, if it isn't my dear Miss Stella, it's already late morning. Why are you still at home? Why aren't you out mining?" Vanessa deliberately asked in a cutesy voice. Shouldn't she be there by now? As an overseer, she was free to come and go, but miners weren't. "What are you talking about, sis? There are so many demons out there. How can you go without me? Why don't both of you take the day off? Surely you can take a day off after getting married. I really hate seeing you both work so hard." Stella immediately shook her head, then realized she'd reacted too strongly. "My dear, with another person to support, we're under even more pressure. We can't just live off what we have. We need to gather more resources. We can't just live off what we have. We need to gather more resources. We need to get stronger as soon as possible so we can better protect ourselves in the future." "She's right, my dear. You've already lost half a day. It'd be hard to explain if you skipped work for no reason." Vanessa realized that too. "All right then. Then, take these talismans with you." I took out the dozens of talismans I'd drawn yesterday and divided them between my two wives. Vanessa's cultivation was lower, so I gave her 20% more. "Thank you, my dear." Vanessa was overjoyed. Stella's heart wavered. Sure enough, his love was being divided. At that moment, the three of us were on our way to the mine. "You knew we had to work today. Why did you keep our husband tied up for so long?" Stella snapped at Vanessa. "He was the one who wouldn't let me go." "Fine. We cultivated all night and overslept this morning," Vanessa shot back. "Cultivating as a trio really was fun. So this is what it feels like. Then you could have left when it was time." Vanessa pouted. "You didn't have to wait for me," Stella scolded her. "We agreed to say we went to fight demons together. How would it look if I went ahead alone?" Fine. My mistake. I'll go easy on you when I punish you for missing work later, okay? Being half a day late gets you 3 lashes. Missing a full day gets you 10. Stella was a minor, so she was sure to be punished. But Vanessa was an overseer, so she might not be. Stella's eyebrows shot up. Vanessa wanted her to be punished. But if Stella took all the blame, only she would be punished. If Vanessa skipped work too, it might alert the garrison general. If the general noticed something was off, they would be in serious trouble. If this happens again, I'll teach you a proper lesson. How is this my fault? If you want to teach someone a lesson, why not teach our husband one? Vanessa teased her. Stella was furious. Once she and her husband were close again, she'd make Vanessa pay. Haha. Vanessa laughed. She'd gotten exactly what she wanted today, and even gained the upper hand. She couldn't have been happier. Things were going to get very interesting. The two soon arrived at the mine. Stella skipped work without cause. Her punishment is 3 lashes, which I will administer personally. Vanessa immediately announced loudly. "Hurry up." Stella urged her on with a frown, looking defiant and dismissive. Good. I like it when you act tough." Vanessa pulled the long whip from her waist and swung it hard. It struck Stella hard across the back. She let out a muffled grunt, her face twisting in pain. But the blow wasn't actually that hard. It only injured the surface of her skin. She was just putting on an exaggerated act. Another lash came down. Even the guards nearby flinched at the sight. That was brutal. She was clearly using her authority to settle a personal grudge. "Now get back to mining." "Fine, I'll remember these 3 lashes." Just then, a female soldier approached Vanessa. "The general wants to see you." Hearing this, Vanessa immediately headed to the general's tent. Ms. Victoria, the general stationed at the North Mountain Mine, was an early-stage Foundation establishment cultivator. She was also a cultivation prodigy with a rare mutated lightning spiritual root. She was only 23 years old. Her greatest feat was killing a 3rd-tier demon beast above her own level. She was a famous general in the Women's Kingdom. Vanessa bowed. "Greetings, General. I called you here for one reason. From now on, don't be so hard on Stella." She'd heard from Rachel, an elder at the mine, that Stella was preparing to reach Foundation establishment. Rachel was the woman who had handled the gray obsidian exchange. She and Stella had once been close friends. She mistakenly thought Stella had exchanged for the gray obsidian to reach Foundation establishment. Since she's preparing for Foundation establishment, cut her some slack whenever you can. Vanessa understood. She knew what to do. After Vanessa left, Ms. Victoria turned to a guard. Did Vanessa seem a little different than usual today? Yes. The way she speaks, carries herself, and even her whole demeanor seemed different. Did something happen? Ms. Victoria was puzzled. A person's whole demeanor normally wouldn't change so suddenly. She's almost 20, isn't she? Maybe that's the reason. Ms. Victoria understood. At her age, it's time to drink from the mother and child river and get pregnant. Being a good mother isn't easy, so she needs to start preparing early. Vanessa is learning pretty well. After leaving the tent, Vanessa went to tell Stella about it. I'm not ready to reach foundation establishment yet. Stella shook her head and explained her reasoning. When she was on her own, reaching foundation establishment would make her stronger. It was also easier for her to keep their husband hidden by herself. But now that Vanessa had joined her, having another person involved created a lot more uncertainty. If she was exposed while reaching foundation establishment, the risk would multiply. Of course, she could start preparing now. Vanessa's gaze sharpened as she pictured that possibility. But you've already considered that possibility. Still, you can't put off foundation establishment forever. Let's wait another 2 years. One of two things could happen during those 2 years. First, our husband might be exposed and discovered by more women. Second, Vanessa should be close to the 9th level of chi refining by then. When the time comes, we'll reach foundation establishment together. With 2 foundation establishment cultivators, things will be completely different. I understand, Vanessa nodded. Deep down, Vanessa knew that if they could keep their husband hidden for another 2 years, they would already have a huge advantage. Be more careful when you're out. No one can find out about our relationship, Stella warned her. Hearing that, Vanessa pulled out her whip. Did you understand what I just told you? You're putting on an act already? Stella rolled her eyes. You understand? I understand. Then get lost. Having 2 beautiful wives can be stressful for a man. I have to split my attention between them and worry about their safety. I need skincare lotion for both of them, and I have to pamper them equally. I have to make dinner for both of them, with each wife's favorite foods. I even need 2 basins of water for their feet. When my wives get back, whose feet should I soak and massage? My first wife's? I can't play favorites. My second wife's? I can't forget the old, just because someone new came along, and I can't be in 2 places at once. Then there's whose room I'll sleep in tonight, and which wife I'll dual cultivate with. So I heated up a huge basin of water. I got a large tub ready and made a long bench myself. Once everything was ready, I stood outside the cave dwelling and waited for my 2 wives to return. Before long, my 2 wives appeared, descending like a pair of fairies, and gracefully floated to the ground. With 2 wives like them, I truly had the best of both worlds. I must have earned this blessing over 8 lifetimes. My wives are back. I smiled and opened my arms. Stella excitedly threw herself into my arms. Not to be outdone, Vanessa also jumped into my arms and held me tight. With a wife in each arm, I couldn't have been happier. All right, my wives. Let's go inside. The hot water is ready. I'll give you both a massage. Sit down on this bench. Vanessa looked confused. Stella simply sat on the bench in front of the basin. I walked over and helped her take off her shoes. You've worked hard all day. Let your husband handle this. Vanessa stared at me wide-eyed in disbelief. How can we let our husband do something like this? It's completely improper. In the kingdom of women, men are meant to be cherished, not put to work. Vanessa forced me down onto the bench. Then she pulled Stella to her feet, and together they washed my feet. Stella also realized something wasn't right. She had always been too afraid to go against my wishes and make me unhappy. That was why she kept making the same mistake. Now she really needed to change. Otherwise, Vanessa might steal all of our husband's affection. Darling, it's our turn to take care of you. It wasn't like they risked their lives every day. They just mined or supervised others doing it. Darling, it's only right that we take care of you. You're our treasure, Vanessa replied right away. Stella agreed, gently rubbing my big feet in her hands. I couldn't resist them, so I could only sit back and enjoy it. Then I suggested that all 3 of us soak our feet together. Both women liked the idea. But we should finish washing your feet first. Vanessa said, our husband comes first, okay? Stella said, our husband comes first. We come after him. I didn't know what to do with these 2 wives of mine. What was I supposed to do when neither of my wives would listen to me? A moment later, I suddenly had an idea. I could build a large heated bath inside the cave dwelling. Then I could take a hot bath with my 2 wives every day. It would be both relaxing and refreshing, the best of both worlds. Darling, what are you thinking about? You look so happy. Vanessa noticed my smile and asked curiously. I just feel happy. Incredibly happy. Stella understood too. She had also felt incredibly happy when her husband washed her feet. It was a special kind of affection that touched her deeply. So she had been the only one to receive that special affection. From now on, she would make her husband feel happy every day. Darling, what's a massage? Vanessa asked after she finished washing my feet. Stella quickly stepped behind me and began massaging my shoulders and neck and pounding my back. Oh, so that's how you do it. Once she learned how, Vanessa began massaging and pounding my thighs. There's a proper technique to massage. The most important thing is finding the right acupoints. I gave Vanessa some pointers, as well as Stella behind me. Both of my wives were cultivators. They were naturally gifted and picked it up right away. They even tried adding true chi to the massage. It felt amazing. My whole body practically turned to jelly. All right, that's enough. The food's getting cold. Let's eat. Darling, these are the spirit stones I earned this afternoon. Just as we were about to eat, Stella suddenly pulled out 5 spirit stones and said, my dear, didn't I tell you not to push yourself so hard? Your safety is what matters most. You earned 5 spirit stones in just one afternoon. I don't even have to ask to know how dangerous that must have been. Honestly, I don't even have to ask to know how dangerous that must have been. Vanessa froze. She'd forgotten about that. She couldn't let Stella outdo her. Darling, here's mine. Vanessa immediately pulled out her storage pouch and took out over 100 spirit stones. They were what remained of everything she'd saved up over the years. She also had 2 mid-grade magical artifacts and several precious spirit herbs. Vanessa handed all of hers over to me too. I stared at her in surprise. Do all the women in this world hand over everything they own to their men? Of course, Stella handed hers over, so I have to do the same. I'll leave them in your care, darling. All right, I nodded. In that case, I'll need to set up a ledger. From now on, I'll record each family member's income and all of our expenses. There's no need, darling. You can do whatever you want with the spirit stones I earn. Stella shook her head. The same goes for mine, Vanessa quickly added. I'm in charge of the household now. Do as I say, I said, raising my eyebrows slightly. I radiated the commanding presence of the head of the household. Okay, we'll do as you say, husband. The 2 women obediently gave in at once. All right, let's eat. For a cultivator, nothing was more important than cultivation besides eating and drinking. So after dinner, I took Vanessa by the hand and led her inside for dual cultivation. I needed to reach the 4th level of chi refining as soon as possible. Stella's good mood instantly vanished. She hadn't expected her husband to choose Vanessa again. Had her husband not forgiven her, or did he just like Vanessa more? Vanessa was young, beautiful, and full of energy. If her husband only had intimate dual cultivation with Vanessa every day from now on, what was she supposed to do? A book titled 36 Strategies for Winning Over a Man suddenly appeared in Stella's hands. A book titled 36 Strategies for Winning Over a Man suddenly appeared in Stella's hands. She began studying it closely. She had to win back her husband's affection. Early the next morning, Vanessa stood in front of the mine, deep in thought. Since Stella turned in spirit stones every day, Vanessa had to do the same. But as an overseer, she earned nowhere near as much as Stella did from mining. What could she do to beat Stella? She couldn't let Stella steal the affection she'd worked so hard to earn. She suddenly remembered that there were still some spirit herbs where she used to live. She could make some pills to sell and get by for now. Inside the mine, Stella wasn't focused on mining either, so there were this many ways to attract a man. She was hard at work studying 36 strategies for winning over a man. The most important thing now was to win back her husband's heart. She only needed to mine a few spirit stones. One of the strategies in the book was to show vulnerability. Sometimes, a woman needed to show a little vulnerability in front of a man. That would bring out his protective instincts and earn her even more affection. Now that's useful. Very useful. Stella was thrilled. She had already come up with a whole series of plans and was determined to win back her husband's heart that night. Because she had wasted time that morning, Stella only got 4 spirit stones that day. When she met up with Vanessa, she suddenly looked at her and asked, "You handed over all your spirit stones last night. Do you have any left?" "No, I don't." Vanessa shook her head. "Here, take 2. Vanessa couldn't believe it. Why was Stella being so nice? "Do you want them or not?" Stella frowned. "If you don't, I'll take them back." Vanessa quickly snatched them away. "You gave them to me just when I needed them." Vanessa snatched them away. "You gave them to me just when I needed them. Then wouldn't I have more than you?" "Darling, we're back," Stella and Vanessa shouted as soon as they returned to the valley. "My dear wives, welcome back safe and sound." I was already waiting at the entrance to our cave residence with my arms wide open. "Darling, I only earned 2 spirit stones today." Looking dejected, Stella threw herself into my arms. "I earned 4. Vanessa looked quite pleased with herself. Her talisman sold for 2 spirit stones, and Stella gave her 2 more. That made 4. Twice as many as Stella had. 2 spirit stones is still pretty good. Like I said, the spirit stones aren't important. What matters most is that you're safe. I gently stroked Stella's head to comfort her. Stella was secretly thrilled by this. Pretending to be weak really did work. Vanessa frowned. What was going on? She had brought back more, but didn't get any praise, while Stella brought back less and got comforted instead. So that's how it was. She had been tricked again. Damn you, Stella. After dinner, Stella made the first move. "The moon looks beautiful tonight. Darling, let's go for a walk." Of course, I had no reason to turn down an offer like that. "Come on, let's all go together." "As long as I'm with you, darling, I'll go anywhere." Vanessa smiled and wrapped her arms around one of mine. Stella glanced at her and smirked with disdain. "I'll win back darling's affection soon enough." Outside, my 2 stunning wives walked on either side of me, each holding one of my arms. I couldn't have been more pleased. A life like this, I felt completely content. With a life like this, what more could a man ask for? Just then, Stella looked off to the side. Bright moonlight shimmered across the rippling water. Stella suddenly let go of my arm and leaped onto the water, hovering above the surface. Standing on the water like that, she looked absolutely beautiful and ethereal. The sight made my heart race. Then, Stella slowly began to sink, until she was completely submerged and disappeared beneath the surface. What was she doing? Vanessa and I were both confused. Stella's head popped back above the water. First came her hair, face, and neck, followed by her wet clothes clinging tightly to her body. I gasped. "Honey, it's too hot on shore. Come in and have some fun. The water feels so nice," Stella said with a playful giggle. I eagerly took my wife up on her invitation. What more was there to say? I used a lightness spell to leap into the water beside Stella. Vanessa asked in confusion, "What? Is it hot on shore?" As soon as Stella saw me beside her, she called out playfully, Honey, come catch me. Then she turned and swam away. You little temptress. You won't get away. I got completely carried away. I played in the water with my gorgeous wife. Whenever I caught her, I took full advantage. My wife teased and tempted me, pretending to resist while pulling me closer. I felt like my soul was about to leave my body. Honey, wait. Let your husband kiss you one more time. Catch me, and I'll let you kiss me. Stella was having a great time too. The method really worked. My husband really was captivated. So this was what it meant for lovers to play in the water. Honey, look what I found. Honey, look what I found. Stella suddenly pulled something out of the water and tossed it to me. I caught it and took a look. It was a red undergarment. It had a small white flower embroidered on it. It belonged to my wife. I looked back at my wife. You naughty wife. How dare you use a magical attack on your husband? Take this. By now, Vanessa was getting annoyed on shore, especially as she watched the two of us having more and more fun. She wanted to jump in and win back her husband's attention. But she had an agreement with Stella. They had to win their husband's affection with their own charm, without interfering or causing trouble. If she barged in now, it probably wouldn't do her any good. Suddenly, a familiar sound came from the water. Ripples spread across the surface. Vanessa's ears instantly perked up. Wow, Stella really knows what she's doing. She actually has our husband completely under her spell. She really knows how to have fun. Vanessa couldn't help licking her lips. The next moment, she leaped up into a tall tree. That way, she could secretly watch and learn while keeping an eye on the surroundings. Early the next morning, I found Vanessa making breakfast. I suddenly felt a little guilty. We'd only been married for 2 days, and I'd already neglected Vanessa last night. Unfortunately, I couldn't be in 2 places at once. Besides, Stella and I hadn't been married long either. You worked hard last night, honey. I'm making you something nourishing. Vanessa wasn't upset at all. That smells delicious. I wrapped my arms tightly around Vanessa from behind. I'm glad you like it. Do you think this is enough? Vanessa pointed to the food on the table. Yes, that's plenty. Then let's wait for Miss Stella before we eat. All right, let's wait for Miss Stella before we eat. Okay. Vanessa turned around and kissed me on the cheek. Good morning, Miss Vanessa. Just then, Stella came out after washing up. Her cheeks were rosy, and she looked radiant. Miss Stella, you've gotten much prettier overnight. Vanessa quickly pushed me away. She smiled and teased. That's what a night together will do. Stella wasn't embarrassed and took the comment in stride. Vanessa, however, secretly huffed to herself. Just wait. I'll steal our husband away tonight. I know all your little tricks now. After my 2 wives left for work, I suddenly caught the smell of medicine. I followed the scent to Vanessa's bedroom and found traces left from refining pills. My second wife had refined them. Suddenly, I had an idea for how our family could move forward. I would focus on drawing talismans. My second wife would refine pills, while my first wife would focus on combat. If we each specialized in one area, we could progress faster and go further. For now, we needed to focus our resources on the most important task. First, we'd pool our resources to help my first wife reach foundation establishment. Having a foundation establishment cultivator in the family would make a huge difference. Not only would we be able to compete for and gather resources much faster, but our dual cultivation would also be more effective. Then we'd pool our resources to help my second wife reach foundation establishment. With 2 foundation establishment wives helping me, reaching it myself would be easy. Meanwhile, Vanessa was summoned to the general's command tent by Ms. Victoria again. At first, she only asked about the mine overseers and Stella reaching foundation establishment. But as they talked, Ms. Victoria suddenly said, I want to get pregnant and have a child too. Vanessa froze. Haven't you been trying to conceive lately too? I've noticed your figure looks a little different lately. Haven't you been trying to conceive lately too? I've noticed your figure looks a little different. And you're old enough to drink from the mother-child river now. In the kingdom of women, if you come of age and don't drink the river water to get pregnant, you'll end up like Stella, punished and sent to work in the mines. Vanessa was stunned when she heard that. Does my figure really look different? Ms. Victoria said bluntly. I mean, we should try to get pregnant together. I want to have a child soon too. As she spoke, a motherly glow appeared on her face. Vanessa was startled. In the past, she would have gladly agreed. But now, she had a husband. She didn't need to drink from the mother-child river. She could get pregnant naturally. Just then, an image suddenly flashed through her mind. Her husband getting Ms. Victoria pregnant? No way. Vanessa quickly dismissed the thought. She could still compete with Stella alone. But if Miss Victoria joined in too, she'd have even less standing. Ms. Victoria noticed the strange look on Vanessa's face. If you don't want to, that's fine. I can do it by myself. The truth was, she was very lonely. She didn't have many friends, and Vanessa was the only person at the mine she knew well. No, that's not it. Vanessa quickly shook her head. You can ask me anything you want to know about cultivation. You have superior grade dual attribute spiritual roots, so you have the talent and potential to reach foundation establishment. I hope you'll be able to go much farther down this path with me. I actually do have some questions about cultivation. Vanessa put her worries aside and decided to go along with it for now. By the end of the shift, Stella had earned 7 spirit stones. Want me to give you 2? No. Vanessa immediately turned her head away. Want me to give you 2? No thanks. Vanessa immediately turned her head away. You still think you can fool me? I'm not the same woman I was yesterday. Tonight, I'll show my vulnerable side and make my husband feel sorry for me and dote on me. Stella smiled, completely unfazed. It won't be that easy to win our husband over by pretending to be vulnerable. Honey, I earned 7 spirit stones today. Honey, I only earned 1 today. Vanessa spoke timidly, looking worried as if she were afraid of being punished. Didn't I tell you? Your safety is what matters most. Nothing else matters. As one of your wives, I should do my part. But I'm much weaker than Stella. So honey, teach me how to fight tonight. Teach you how to fight? I've never fought demons before. I'll teach you once I'm stronger. Vanessa grew anxious. That wasn't what she meant. Honey, there are still 2 moves from last night that I haven't figured out. Why don't we work on them some more? Stella suddenly cut in. Sure, let's do it. I nodded immediately. Honey, Vanessa pouted as if to say, I'm upset. Come cheer me up. I suddenly snapped back to my senses. My 2 wives had almost distracted me so much that I forgot about business. I have 2 things to say. The 2 women looked at me attentively. I turned to Vanessa first. Vanessa, you know how to refine pills. Well, I've only learned a little, Vanessa stammered. But my success rate is extremely low. I've only learned a little, Vanessa stammered. But my success rate is extremely low. I waved it off and smiled encouragingly. It's okay. With more practice, your success rate will go up. People need encouragement to build confidence. Besides, selling pills could eventually give us another source of income. I then explained my plans for our family. It was the plan I'd made earlier that day. But as soon as I suggested focusing our resources on helping my first wife reach foundation establishment, yes, I'm all for it, Vanessa exclaimed immediately. She was so excited that she nearly jumped for joy. Once Stella reached foundation establishment, she would calm down a bit. Then Vanessa would have more chances to spend time with her husband. I was surprised. It was rare for my second wife, Vanessa, to be so supportive. Vanessa was so wonderful and considerate. Don't worry. Once Stella reaches foundation establishment, we'll put all our family's resources toward helping you. We'll help you become an alchemist and reach foundation establishment as soon as possible. Vanessa's breath caught. Her turn was coming so soon. Honey, you're the most important one. I think once Miss Stella reaches foundation establishment, you should be next. My aptitude is poor, so you 2 should reach foundation establishment first. Then, with both your wives helping you, reaching foundation establishment should be easy. Stella's expression shifted. There was no avoiding it. She couldn't escape it after all. In that case, you're right, honey. I support you. I knew you'd understand me best, I said happily. Vanessa grew anxious when she heard that. Honey, I support you too. Whatever you decide to do, I'll support you. Then keep studying alchemy tonight. I immediately assigned them their tasks. Vanessa froze. Stella, let's go. Go study alchemy. I immediately assigned them their tasks. Vanessa froze. Stella, let's go. I'll give you a hand tonight. Smiling, I took Stella's hand and led her into the bedroom. Dual cultivation would be a huge help. I needed to put in some extra effort tonight. 6 hours later, Stella buried her face in my chest. If her husband was happy, then she was happy too. It's getting late. Let's get up. In the kitchen, Vanessa stood there pouting and furiously chopping away with a knife. She had chopped a single stalk of greens into 800 pieces. Stella got to enjoy herself, while she was left all alone. Why couldn't the 3 of them do it together? What are you doing? I suddenly appeared and asked. I'm chopping vegetables. Startled, Vanessa quickly smiled and said, Good morning, my husband. Once I add these vegetables to the porridge, breakfast will be ready. Thanks for all your hard work, Vanessa. Morning, Miss Vanessa. Miss Stella looks even prettier today. Vanessa glanced at her and exclaimed dramatically, See that, my husband? Ms. Vanessa is desperate for a turn, Stella replied generously. The second of the 36 ways to handle a man. Never satisfy him too easily. You have to keep him wanting more. Besides, you need something to compare before you know what's best. Vanessa was stunned that Stella had willingly let her have their husband. Did you hear that, my husband? You're mine tonight. I pinched Vanessa's little nose. All right, you greedy little thing. Even if you hadn't given me a turn, I'd still have a way to make our husband spend tonight with me. Vanessa crossed her arms, looked at Stella, and smiled. What way? Do you really think I'd tell you? Stella wasn't bothered at all. She smiled faintly and replied, Would I tell you? Completely unfazed, Stella smiled faintly and sped off toward the mine. Inside the mine, Stella quietly worked out her plans before reaching foundation establishment. First, she would make her husband completely devoted to her. Then she would spend another month strengthening their bond. That way, she could reach foundation establishment without any worries. If everything goes smoothly, I'll complete foundation establishment and be out in 2 months. Once she reached foundation establishment, she would be a whole new person. Then how could my husband resist someone as strong, cool, and beautiful as me? Do you have any more of those flame talismans? A female soldier named Scarlet suddenly asked Vanessa with a smile. Those talismans work really well. I used one on a badger yesterday and blew it up instantly. Vanessa was surprised. She hadn't expected her husband's talismans to work so well. Scarlet then bought 20 talismans, but as she turned around, something suddenly fell out of her clothes. Vanessa spotted it and picked it up. Scarlet's expression changed instantly. Could you give that back to me? Scarlet, you were reading a book like this while on duty? Vanessa opened it, and her face immediately turned red. Then she pretended to stay calm and scolded Scarlet sternly. The book was titled Forbidden Pleasures. I wasn't reading it. Scarlet anxiously tried to defend herself. After all, she had been carrying a forbidden book. If she was caught and reported, she'd be in serious trouble. Could you please not report me? Overseer, I can give you spirit stones. Or the next time you sell talismans, I'll pay double. Vanessa coughed twice and quickly tucked the book into her own clothes. I don't want your spirit stones, but don't let it happen again. I'll pretend I didn't see anything today. Thank you, but the book, Vanessa snapped at her. You really have a death wish. No, no, no. Scarlet quickly waved her hands, then cautiously reminded her, you're not even 20 yet. You can't read that book. Who said I was going to read it? Vanessa bristled. Me? Read this? Why would I read it? Really? Scarlet didn't believe her, judging by the look on her face earlier. Vanessa glared at her and quickly reached for the whip at her waist. I believe you. I believe you. Scarlet reluctantly left. That book was her favorite source of entertainment. But once Scarlet was gone, Vanessa quickly found a secluded place to study it closely. Amazing! You can do that? Vanessa stared in amazement, feeling like a whole new world had opened up to her. She seemed to have found a way to win even more of her husband's affection. That evening, Stella and Vanessa returned home. The next moment, their expressions changed dramatically. I was usually at the cave dwelling to welcome them home, but today I wasn't. Darling! They hurried inside to look for me, but I wasn't there. Their faces darkened, and their gazes became sharp as swords. Quick, let's find him. Stella soon found me by the river. Her face instantly brightened, and she let out a long sigh of relief. Darling. Stella flew over to me. My dear wives. I opened my eyes while meditating by the river. You're back. Oh, it's already getting dark. I'd been alternating between practicing spells and meditating to recover. I repeated that routine all afternoon. I didn't expect it to be so late when I opened my eyes again. It was already getting dark. Stella looked around and saw plenty of damage from my training. I tested my powers at the peak of the 3rd level of chi refining, and it really was different. Casting spells was much smoother than it had been at the 2nd level. Vanessa, how about sparring with me? I was suddenly itching for a fight. Vanessa readily agreed. She was willing to do anything with her husband, but you can only use 30% of your strength. I set one condition. Vanessa was at the 7th level of chi refining, while I was only at the 3rd. I wasn't about to pretend I was stronger than I really was. All right, darling, take this. Stella returned to the cave dwelling to cook dinner for her husband. Come on. I quickly conjured 2 water balls. Vanessa quickly dodged them. Then she quickly closed in on me. A water ball appeared in her hand, and she fired it at my chest. Light on my feet, I easily stepped back and dodged it. The 2 of us attacked again. We battled using water ball spells. We chased each other using our movement techniques. We traded attacks and had a blast fighting. But the mood gradually began to change. We had both been hit, leaving our clothes soaked and clinging tightly to our bodies. Vanessa jumped straight into the river. Copying Stella's little trick, she beckoned to me. Come play with me, darling. I gritted my teeth. Demon, face the mighty heavenly dragon. After dinner, Stella asked me for 500 spirit stones. She wanted to buy a foundation establishment pill, but when I heard that, I frowned deeply. Will that be enough? As far as I know, a foundation establishment pill costs at least 2,000 or 3,000 spirit stones. Could it be a scam? Seeing the worry in my eyes, Stella smiled and reassured me. I've got a connection. Don't worry, honey. We'll take every precaution. You have to be extra careful and come up with a thorough plan. There are too many bad people in this world. You can never be too careful around others. I was only at the 3rd level of chi refining, so all I could do was warn them again and again. What I didn't know was that, every time I warned them, Stella and Vanessa felt a little more guilty. Even so, their resolve never wavered. Their original motives may not have been entirely pure, but in a way, they really were protecting me. Hundreds of thousands of women in the kingdom of women were eager to snatch up any man they could. Of course, their guilt made them even gentler with me. So Stella and Vanessa did whatever I asked. Ms. Victoria, I've made up my mind. For the kingdom of women and its people, I will reach foundation establishment. Stella spoke with passion and conviction. The corner of Miss Victoria's mouth curled into a smile. You're not thinking about men anymore? I am, but I need to reach foundation establishment. Once I do, I'll have more opportunities and more time to think about them. All right. Ms. Victoria smiled, but then her expression suddenly changed. She sensed something in Stella, similar to what she had sensed in Vanessa. That was unusual. What was going on? Was she imagining it? You've been spending a lot of time with Vanessa lately, haven't you? Hearing that, Stella immediately tensed up. No, not really. She gave me 3 lashes just a few days ago. She probably felt guilty, so she's looked after me a couple of times lately. What about before that? Did you ever meet in private? General, do you suspect Vanessa and me of conspiring to steal spirit stones? No. Ms. Victoria shook her head. As the garrison commander, she trusted her own management. I'm not trying to pry into your private affairs. I've just noticed lately that you both seem to have undergone the same change, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Stella understood. She and Vanessa had both been with a man, so balancing yin and yang had naturally changed them. But the vast majority of women in the kingdom of women had never even seen a man. She hadn't expected the change to be so obvious. She let out an awkward laugh. Maybe working at the mine so long has made us all act like minors. I see. Ms. Victoria waved her hand and handed her a red sandalwood box about an inch long. Take it. I hope you reach foundation establishment soon. Thank you, General. Stella took the foundation establishment pill and left the tent. The general had noticed something. They would have to be more careful from now on. After Stella left, Ms. Victoria murmured, "Those two are hiding something. We can't leave the mine together anymore. We'll meet up outside the canyon." Stella secretly transmitted the message to Vanessa as she passed by. Vanessa frowned when she heard it. What happened with the general just now? Were they about to be exposed? She would ask Stella about it after work. After Stella entered the mine, "My lady, have you noticed anything different about Stella?" Scarlett asked as she walked over. "Different how? She hasn't drunk from the mother-child river, so she should have a pure yin constitution. But something about her seems different, almost as if she's pregnant." Scarlett had given birth herself and had seen many other mothers. Stella seemed like them, but not quite. It was strange. "What are you implying? Do you suspect her?" "It was just a thought." "Just a thought?" Vanessa gave her a warning look. "Stella is about to reach foundation establishment. If she hears you making accusations without any evidence—" I know. I didn't say anything." Scarlett quickly backed away. Vanessa knew exactly what Scarlett was trying to do. Scarlett knew that Vanessa and Stella didn't get along, so she wanted Vanessa to find proof that Stella had done something shameful. Too bad they were family. They could fight among themselves, but no outsider was allowed to hurt Stella. Vanessa and Stella carefully met up outside the canyon. "Did you get the foundation establishment pill?" Stella nodded. "Don't you think that with demons and monsters all around us, getting the foundation establishment pill from ruthless experts could have put us through some hardship?" "What do you mean?" Vanessa drew her flying sword and slashed her own arm. A 1-inch cut appeared on her arm. Stella was speechless, so her plan was to injure herself. But she didn't want to keep lying to her husband. But the foundation of the lie had already been laid, and the lies only seemed to keep piling up. 7.5 minutes later, "Darling, we're back." The two women flew into the canyon. "My dears, you..." I looked at their tattered clothes and the sorry state my two wives were in. My heart clenched at the sight. Darling, that demon was so powerful. Vanessa was almost killed by it today and nearly didn't make it back. Vanessa threw herself into my arms and burst into tears. "You're badly hurt." I quickly checked her over, but aside from a small cut on her arm, she was completely unharmed. "I'm not hurt, but inside." Vanessa buried her face in my chest and started sobbing again, as if she were truly terrified. Stella was speechless. Her acting was way too convincing. How had she never noticed before? "What about you, Stella? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine." Stella shook her head. Her cultivation level was higher, so it made sense that she was unharmed. "I was just a little shaken up. With me around, I'll make sure Ms. Vanessa stays safe." "Darling, I want you to stay with me tonight." "All right, I'll stay with you tonight." Stella suddenly understood. So this was Vanessa's real goal. Once Vanessa got the answer she wanted, she stayed nestled in my arms and refused to leave. "Did you get the foundation establishment pill?" "Yes." She took out a sandalwood box and opened it. Inside was a translucent blue-green pill, glowing with spiritual light. It was clearly no ordinary pill. The foundation establishment pill was the most important elixir on the path of cultivation and a must for every cultivator. Without it, reaching the true path of immortality was extremely difficult. "When do you plan to enter foundation establishment, my dear?" I could barely contain my excitement. Entering foundation establishment was no small matter. It required a lot of preparation to improve the chances of success. "In 2 months, Stella replied. She hadn't forgotten the plan they'd agreed on. In the first month, she'd make her husband fall for her. In the second month, she'd make him even more dependent on her. Then she'd suddenly break through to foundation establishment. By then, whenever her husband was away from her, he'd feel completely out of sorts. He'd feel uneasy and constantly think about her. She'd learned all this from books and adapted it to fit her needs. I was thrilled. Having a foundation establishment cultivator in the family would change everything. I wanted to start dual cultivation with Stella again right away to give her a boost. But I'd already promised Vanessa I'd spend tonight with her. Vanessa was starved for affection. More than 20 days passed in the blink of an eye. Then today, I unexpectedly broke through to the 4th level of chi refining. When my two wives came home that evening, I immediately shared the good news with them. When Stella heard the news, her heart sank. My higher cultivation level wasn't entirely good news for them. The stronger I became, the more I'd want to explore the wider world. That meant other women might discover me. But since she was about to reach foundation establishment, it didn't seem to matter anymore, as long as her husband stayed below the 7th level of chi refining. "Congratulations on advancing your cultivation, my husband," Stella said with a smile. Vanessa, however, became even more anxious. She was only at the 7th level of chi refining. She couldn't compete with female cultivators who were stronger and prettier than her. But after glancing at Stella, she gradually relaxed. With Stella, the first wife, standing in front of her, she could stay safely behind. But this head-in-the-sand thinking was wrong. Now that Stella had decided to reach foundation establishment, Vanessa had to get stronger as quickly as possible. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be able to compete with Stella. "Congratulations, my husband. You're amazing. It's only been a month since you reached the 3rd level, and you've already broken through." I gently tapped Vanessa on the nose. "Half the credit goes to you, Vanessa. And of course, the other half goes to Stella."